wanna ride. So baby, get with me, 'cause this party goes on all night. You never get this right, 'cause when you're rolling with a G, 'cause this party goes on all night.
Hello and good day, everyone. Welcome to the Real Source Podcast, and I'm your host, JD. And today is episode 6, and what we'll be talking about in topic 1 is, does the man still have chains on us? Now, of course he does. Of course he does. You know, the subjective aspect of the chains that's on us is we can't see them. You know, this applies in a multiverse atmosphere. For instance, when you're in jail, right? You're behind bars, but then there's mental bars. Mentally, things that you do to keep yourself imprisoned. All of this is part of a system that the man has created and has indoctrinated us in from the beginning of when they got in control. And so, with that being said, this applies to many different aspects of life and what we deal with. For instance, you get a Caucasian person driving past the speed limit, and you get an African American driving past the speed limit. And the police officers happen to be African American and Caucasian. More than likely, and this is just not me saying this, because I've experienced this on many occasions, more than likely, they'll stop you as the colored man first before they stop the non-colored man. This has a lot to do with environment, where we are, where we are in what state we're staying in, what level of racism that we're dealing with, what level of control. So as long as there's a hierarchy and you're not part of it, which 99% of the world is not, there's always going to be some form of chains that's going to be on you. Even if you want to get into the entertainment business. I'll give you a prime example. Marshawn Lynch, great running back for the Seattle Seahawks, was fined all the time because he would decline to give reports, or actually speak to reporters rather. But that's another form of having chains on you. I could think of a couple different other ways. One of the other ways of having chains on you is you have to get up and you have to do the same thing every day. The process of getting up, going to work, a form of Groundhog Day. Well, that's another way of the man having his chains on you. Marriage, infidelity. You cheat on your lady. They take you to court. She gets paid. You get broke. Meanwhile, she probably been doing the same thing as you. But because the court system is made for us to be segregated, what they'll do is they'll allow certain people to get away with stuff. Meanwhile, the other group of people like ourselves will have to deal with the repercussions of our actions. So being smart, just be careful about what it is that you do and be careful about what it is that you say around certain parties and around certain environments, because the chains will forever be there, even though they're invisible. Excuse my language. Even though they're invisible and you don't see them, doesn't mean that they're not there. They're there. So what you need to do is break free spiritually and mentally so there is no longer any chains on you. That's pretty much it.
You're not happy with your t-shirt order? No problem, we print on customer supplied shirts too. At Reload Graphics, we bring your ideas to life with vibrant, high-quality printing. Whether it's one shirt or 100, your brand will look its best. Trust us to handle the printing, so you can focus on making an impact. Reload Graphics, where we bring your ideas to life.
So topic 2, y'all. Why is this so hard for us? And what do we have to do as black and brown people to get ahead? Well, why is it so hard for us? It's hard for us because they made it that way. a lot of that has to deal with, the schooling systems, jobs, certain things that are available to us. I think we don't have the same community work that we did back in the days. My father was an activist, and he would do a lot of field work, and, they would make lunches for kids at school and teach them martial arts and stuff like that. And I think that stuff is still done, but it's not done to the level of the way it was done in the past. Plus, in America, they don't publicize and advocate that kind of stuff. You usually see that internationally with other countries. I think it's hard for us, and the reason why it's hard for us is because we've been pitted into this system, into welfare, into housing, into all these different things that are provided for us as services that are to keep us docile and to keep us, not wanting to be progressive. And with that, not to mention bad music, bad TV shows, bad commercials for food for you to go eat, So these kinds of things are part of the reason why we are where we are. And as Black and brown people, which is the same thing, it's just one shade a little bit lighter than the other. I would always have this conversation with one of my Hispanic boys, and I'm mixed as a Black man, so I can speak freely regarding this. But I have a Hispanic associate. I won't say he's my friend, but an associate who would say, well, I'm not Black. And so I would tell them, well, you go join them, you work for them, and then when they're done with you, they'll slaughter you because they still look at you as you being me. So we need to stop all this racism bullshit and all this prejudice crap, because at the end of the day, if there's one creator and if there's one God, we all fall under that one paradigm, which means regardless of whatever color, you still pump blood, you still have a heartbeat, you still have a brain, and you still have over 200 bones in your body. So with that being said, we have to change our development. And it starts with the inner communities. It starts with better schooling systems. It starts with not feeding our children fast food because it's cheap and I'm too damn fucking lazy to want to make them some breakfast. When we start to get in tune with ourselves, then as a collective, we would all be together and it'll just naturally happen. It's just like practice. Whenever you practice at something, you will always get better. So we have to limitize certain things that we do, and we have to incorporate things that make us uncomfortable, because when you're uncomfortable, it forces you to change. And until we do that, we will continuously get the same results that we've been getting since the beginning of time.
You're not happy with your t-shirt order? No problem, we print on customer supplied shirts too. At Reload Graphics, we bring your ideas to life with vibrant, high-quality printing. Whether it's one shirt or 100, your brand will look its best. Trust us to handle the printing, so you can focus on making an impact. Reload Graphics, where we bring your ideas to life.
Up next, did you know? So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Did you know Sarah Boone is the inventor of the modern day ironing board? Sarah Boone was an African-American dressmaker who made her name by inventing the modern-day ironing board. In her patent application, she wrote that the purpose of her invention was to produce a cheap, simple, convenient, and highly effective device, particularly adapted to being used in ironing the sleeves and bodies of ladies' garments. With its approval in 1892, Boone became one of the first African American women to be awarded a patent. Thank you for tuning into the Real Source Podcast. I'm your host, JD. If you like the episode, please share with a friend or subscribe to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Be well, be kind, and be safe. I'm out.
I know you wanna ride, so baby get with me, 'cause this party goes on all night. You never get this right.